In May of 1966, Jimi Hendrix was playing a show in New York City at one of the most popular night spots in the city, the Cheetah Club. It was there that a lady named Linda Keith, who was the girlfriend of Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards at the time, was mesmerized by his playing. They became friends, and she ultimately referred him to music management. First, she introduced him to Rolling Stones manager Andrew Luke Oldham and producer Seymour Stein. They did not see Hendrix's potential and ultimately rejected him. Later though, he was introduced to Chaz Chandler, who was leaving the Animals and was looking for new talent. He saw Hendrix perform at a cafe in New York and was impressed, and was convinced he could create hits with him. Then Chandler brought him out to London in September of 1966 and signed him to a management and production contract. Then he got started recruiting members for a band that would ultimately highlight Jimi's abilities. They would go on to be known as the Jimi Hendrix Experience. After only being in London for about a week, Chandler brought him to the London Polytechnic, where Cream was scheduled to perform. And it's worth noting that at this time in London, Cream was huge, and Clapton himself was in a league of his own on the guitar, and it was common for people to deify him. Hendrix bravely asked to jam on stage with Cream the night of the performance to join them for a few numbers, to which Clapton replied, of course, but he claims he had a funny feeling about him. Cream began their show, and when Hendrix took the stage, he actually plugged into Jack Bruce's bass amp, and he played a blistering rendition of Killing Floor where he pulled out all the tricks, playing with his teeth, behind the back, dive bombs, feedback, you name it. And his incredible display of playing blew everyone away, including Clapton, who was pretty much left in shock. In the middle of the song, he dropped his arms by his side and stopped playing completely, and exited the stage once the song ended. Someone backstage recalls seeing Clapton aggressively pacing, then stopping to light a cigarette. He was struggling to light it because his hands were shaking, and he was muttering to himself, is he really that good? Clapton has stated that all his guitar tricks weren't in an upstaging sense at all, and that his life was never the same again after seeing that performance. This performance obviously had a profound effect on Clapton. It was also the birth of a really beautiful friendship between Clapton and Hendrix. Their friendship blossomed from that night forward. Despite their different styles, they shared a deep respect for one another, often spending time jamming and trading ideas. Clapton, who already was a giant in London, found himself both inspired and challenged by Hendrix's fearless approach to the guitar. When Hendrix tragically passed in 1970, Clapton was devastated, later reflecting on the profound loss of his friend and one of music's brightest talents. Though their time together was brief, their connection left an undeniable mark on each other and on the world of music, shaping a legacy that still resonates in Clapton and a legacy that has become legendary in Hendrix.